Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and I am starting this budgeting journey today. I am really excited. I've been watching cash stuffing videos on YouTube for longer than I care to admit. And I just had to take out another loan for my spending, and I just thought that I needed to start a budget and actually stick to it this time. So I'm starting this channel to keep me accountable and help me in that budgeting journey. You will notice though that unlike the other cash stuffers that I watch and maybe you watch too, I don't have any cash envelopes. I really don't like cash. I think the method behind that madness, if you will, totally makes sense to me. Handing over a physical bill is a lot more difficult than just swiping your card, and so it helps you save money. I totally agree with that, but I just don't have the time or the patience, honestly, to deal with the cash budgeting system. I don't want to have to keep going to the bank. I don't want to have to use cash when I pay. And most of my bills are online anyway, and so it would have to be a combination or a hybrid in any case. And so I think just making it 100% digital made a lot more sense to me. So this video is going to be all about how I do my cash budgeting system or my cash envelope system without cash envelopes and without cash at all. So I'll just run over the app that I use and kind of my process when I go through budgeting. And then in the future, when I get paid, I'm going to do a budget with me video where I walk you through how I'm allocating my money and transferring and doing all of that stuff, similar to a cash budgeting video, but without the cash envelopes. So if that seems interesting to you, if you want to see how I set up my budget, then please keep on watching. I'm so happy to have you here. Okay, and I apologize too, my allergies are acting up today, so if I keep sniffling, that is why. There we go. Okay, so first of all, I'll say that the app that I use is the Penbook app, and that app, I pay a yearly subscription fee for, I think, maybe like $20 or something. I guess I can check right here. Where is it? Oh, it's down here. Okay, so $15 a year is really not that much money, but I'm stuffing $3 a month to pay for it. But the app I think is really great, and I have a budget, I have a to-do list, and you can add a bunch of other things. Sometimes I use this for journaling or just writing notes while I'm working, and I think it's really great because I have a lot of flexibility in what I can do, and that works really great for me because I like to set up my budget the way I need it instead of use a template or a pre-built budgeting app that maybe I would have to tweak a little bit anyway. I would rather just build it from scratch. So the Penbook app works really great for me. And this is my budget section. So the first page that I have is my like debt payoff page. It's just a consolidated view of all of the debt that I have. So like I said, I recently just had to take out another debt consolidation loan, which is what prompted me to start this journey. My husband and I have quite a few loans together, so you can see those are all right here. This is the total balance, including interest. So like this loan was only $17,000, but this is the total that I'm going to have to pay off because I'm making my calculations based off of that number instead of having the interest be a surprise later on. So these are all of our loans with the minimum payment, the due date, and the interest rate, so that when I go into my debt snowball, I can use this as an input. So that's why we took out the loan, because that was 14% and all of our credit cards are around 20 to 30%. I'm not quite sure what my Nordstrom credit card is, but I would assume it's 25 to 30%. And then I have another column here that I rarely use, which is dollar change from 1/26, which was the last date that I input this information. and used this column. So sometimes I use it just to get a view, and I'll input, like if this goes up, which it actually did, it went from 0 to 2402, and so then I would write that in red. I would write plus 2402, and if this one went down, which it did, it's actually at negative 38 cents now because I paid a little more, so then I would put minus 38 cents or something like that. So green is a happy transaction and red is a not so happy transaction. So anyway, this is my first page. It's a very consolidated view of our debt payments. And you can swipe, but you can also do that. This is just a contract my husband and I have on where our money's gonna go so that we don't fight about it. This is the budget that I built, and so my budget is $100 for nails, $29 for our gym membership, groceries, food, Core Power, which is my yoga membership, and it's actually $107, but my company reimburses me $50, and so I just pay $57 out of pocket. Coffee, gas, facials, which includes the tip, and my nails actually include the tip too, so I always just will round up to 100 or 50 if I'm just getting a manicure, and then I'll put the other 50 somewhere else. And entertainment, which is $100. So my total is $1,386, and my husband's is $444. So this is also just a view of like an average for our paychecks. I usually work overtime, so this is like the bare minimum if I didn't work any overtime, and I think he gets $2,312 or something. So $2,300 is a base for him as well. That's just there so that I have it. And then this is my debt snowball page that I have not been using yet because I had all of these like credit cards and I just didn't really know how to set this up. And honestly, I just haven't set it up, but it's here for when I want to use it. I set it up on February 1st. I have all the best intentions to use it. I just haven't started yet. So that's what I can do there. This page I use a lot is my sinking funds, and this is the account that all of my sinking funds are funneling into so that I don't forget where they are. So I have all of my annual subscriptions on here, like the Penbook app, which I'm using now, Amazon Prime, all of those, their due dates and the amount that is due. If it's a typical sinking fund, like you're putting money in and then you're pulling money out periodically and at a frequent basis, then they just have these two lines here because they don't have a due date. They don't have a credit card that they're pulling out of like some of these ones do if they're on auto pay. It's just your balance and your monthly stuffing. And then these ones down here are like savings funds almost, but I wanted them to funnel into money market because I get a larger return on that one instead of just my typical savings account. And also this one is a trip that we're going on, and I put some of the tickets on auto pay or on afterpay. And so that would technically qualify as a sinking fund because I am going to be putting money in and then pulling money out periodically until we get to this June 17th, which is the date of that trip. As you can see, we like to travel. We have a lot of trips coming up, and this isn't even all of them. Probably why I'm in so much debt. So what can you do? And then this, actually that one's outdated. This is the page that I use the most frequently. So I actually changed it. I used to have all of my sinking funds in little columns here as well. Like you can see this one is a little bit longer because I have some sinking funds here that are funneling into savings. But I consolidated this view because I have that sinking funds page and because I have that debt snowball page. I also used to have on this last page like an extra amount that I would be putting towards any of our credit cards or savings or investing. And now that I have that debt snowball page, I won't be using that either. So this is a consolidated view of our bills. This is for March. So anyway, I just have whether or not I've allocated it, and if I've paid it. If it's not on auto pay, I have to check it off, make sure that I do it myself, what the expense is, the amount, the account that it is either becoming like getting paid out of or just that I'll be storing that money in. For example, Lauren budget is in Lauren checking, but you'll see how I manage all of that later. Not all of the bills come out of just my budget or my checking account. And then the due date for all of those, these ones are chronological, and these ones were just put in by the date that we took out the loan, first to last. So what I do typically when I get paid, I'll do this now. When I get paid, I come in here. I usually use the pink because I love pink. And I open this little side section. Like this would be our income. So the next video that I post will be allocating all of this. Not quite sure on the amounts yet. We still have about a week and a half until we get paid. But I have a big Poshmark check coming in too. So I just preemptively wrote those in because I get excited. So I usually would put my income here, I would add it up, whatever that amount would be, and then I would start checking off from my highest priority to my lowest priority. So you can see we're about a week into February now, and I've checked off, I've allocated half of next month's rent. That is in my savings right now, which is $878. Because typically if I only get paid $1,650, my husband gets paid $2,300. Like if we don't get paid on the same day and I only get $1,650, I don't want my whole paycheck to go to savings for next month's rent. So I broke it up into two just to have a little more flexibility. Definitely don't have to do that. And then I just check off whatever's the most important or whatever's coming up soonest until I get to the amount. So I would say like for whatever, this is not the correct math, but let's say I get paid $3,000, then I'll come in here, check off half of my rent minus $878, and that is going to go to savings. And then let's see, I have utilities, $105 coming out of our Silver Amex. And so I would just do that all the way down until I got to zero. And then as you'll see in my next video too, I'll come in and I'll say, okay, whatever the savings amount adds up to be, let's say there's like $878 here, some here, some here, I will add all of those up and then make one transfer to my savings account so that I don't have to do it all individually. That just works for me. So I would do one transfer to savings, one transfer to my Silver Amex, to my Apple Card, wherever the money's going. And so I just check until I'm out of money, and then my next paycheck, I'll check off whatever else I can until I get out of money. I prioritize these ones, obviously, which are our debt payments, and then our actual bills that are coming out that have dates. These were my sinking funds, like I said, and so those are unfortunately a little bit of a lower priority. If in some case I don't have the money to pay them, those would get skipped. So since that was the case anyway, I consolidated it to this view. So now I'll come in, hopefully check off all of these. My husband paid off his car this last month, which was amazing. Oh, that got deleted somehow. Half rent. And so we only have one car payment now, but we do have another loan payment, which is twice as much as his car was. So anyway, this is kind of a debt confessionals video too. Obviously, this page is a little bit scary. I usually will come in and add it up. But I don't want to do that right now because I don't want to get scared. And then the last thing that I have is a 52-week savings challenge that I had all the intentions of doing. I will probably start it now that we don't have the interest accruing on that credit card or those credit cards. I really honestly, I could not swing the payments for these. It just seemed too daunting. I doubled the traditional 52-week savings. Maybe I shouldn't have doubled it, but anyway, I did, and I just randomized the numbers and put them in here. And again, that would be funneling to my money market account so that I'm gaining a little bit of interest on that. But now that I don't have those credit cards accruing interest, I will probably start this and just try to catch up. Maybe put all of my Poshmark money to this because that doesn't funnel into our budget. It does if I have extra money to pay off, but if I wasn't making any money from Posh, we could still pay all of our bills, and so that would be a really great place to put all of this. And I think I could catch up because we're only 5 weeks into the year, so I mean that's, I don't know, $250 or something. But in any case, that is how I set up my budget. The last thing that I want to show you is an app that I use. It's called the Done Habit Tracker app, and I actually installed it on my iPad because I'm filming with my phone. But I have this app on my phone. As you can see, it's optimized for a phone, not an iPad. But this is actually a habit tracker app that I found. So typically what people use this for is you would put like make bed, exercise, drink water or something, and you would cross it off as you do it so that by the end of the day, you make sure to hit all of your goals. But I really have found that it works well for my budgeting, and since I'm not a cash budgeter, I have to have a way to keep track of my expenses as they happen. Since some credit cards aren't updated consistently, it's really hard to make sure that I am at the correct amount of money. So this works really well because this serves as my like envelope system when I'm spending money. So the way that this works is you can come in here and click plus, set up whatever your account is going to be. And I left one out, but I can't remember what it was. So we'll just say shopping because that is one of my sinking funds, but it used to be on my budget. So you would set it up as shopping. I want to build this habit. So your money is going to go up instead of down. So I want to build, it's a monthly budget, but if you're stuffing weekly, you can also change it to weekly. And let's say I put in $100 for the month for my budget. I'm going to put custom value. You'll see why. And then track on every single day. Click a fun color. You can also add a note, add some reminders, a motivational quote, but I don't do any of those things. So this is what my system would look like. And I have a couple other categories on my phone that coincide with my budget here. Yeah, so the one I left out I think was nails. Anyways. So then as I'm going through my day, and as you saw before, I just deposit my budget into my checking account. So my $1,286 goes all into my checking account. And then as I spend that money, I go through and say, okay, I go to the grocery store and I spend $200. So then I have that money in my checking account, but if I want to get credit card points for that, which $200 is quite a few credit card points and that adds up over time. So I would definitely put that on a credit card, but I would pay the credit card off immediately, literally like in the parking lot of the grocery store or while I'm waiting in line to get my food. Let's say if I ordered food at a restaurant, whatever, I pay it off as soon as I remember. And then in the same time that I'm on my phone, I come to this app too, and then I would put plus 200 for the groceries. So as I go throughout the month, you can see like, let's say I spend $5 on coffee. I go to my facial, I spend all $100. And so then as you can see throughout the month, this is going to add up and I'm going to get a really clear picture of how much money I have left to spend. And so we just went on a trip and mine on my phone is a lot further along than I would like it to be for the 7th day of February. And so I know I need to cut back. And so it's a really physical way to see, similar to viewing your cash envelope and saying, oh my gosh, I only have $5 left. I'm not going to go get food. If this is at, $40, I'm not going to buy my husband a coffee. As much as he begs and pleads, I don't have the money for it because that would be like $12 and I only have 10. So either I would forgo that or he would forgo that, or we would just make coffee at home. You guys know you have the flexibility, but this is a really great way that I found to do an all electronic budget and actually have it work for me. The problem is just following it for me, but that's a problem with any budget. So anyway, I have this on my phone. It goes with me everywhere. And this, I would say, is the key. So again, this is called the Done Habit Tracker app. Where is it? I have all of my stuff in here. Done. It looks like this, just those little tiles. And so that's a really great app. And like I said, it's $15 a year for the premium. If you don't want to pay $15 a year, I think you get 2 or 3 categories for free. And so if you only had a couple you wanted to keep track of, like groceries, food, and gas, phenomenal, then you wouldn't even need to pay the $15. So yeah, and you can also look at these views on a daily, weekly, or yearly basis. Sorry, week, month, or year. But these are really great as well. So yeah, that is my budget. That is what I use. Again, it's the Penbook app and the Done app that are the most critical for me. And you guys know how difficult it is to, if you have a YouTube channel or if you're just trying to start a budget, you know how difficult it can be to look at this and say, oh my gosh, I have all of this to pay off. And like if I go through here, sometimes or you can see on this one, I would add these up and I would add up my debt payments or my loan payments, and it would only give me like $200 a month of wiggle room when I input our paychecks in there. And so it is really daunting to just start a budget, and it's kind of scary for me to get on here and post all of this stuff and post all the debt that I have and all of our expenses. Obviously, there's some things on here that I cut out of our bills this month too, like Disney Plus and Hulu. I canceled my Allo Moves membership, which is another yoga subscription. And so those things hurt to have to let go of. But I think when you're starting a budget, it really is all about the long-term vision and then being held accountable daily. And so that's the reason for this channel is I have the long-term vision set up. I know what I want. I know what my savings goals are, but I'm just not being held accountable. And so hopefully this channel will help me with that. Hopefully you guys will help me with that. So that's why I'm here. Again, I'm really, really excited to get debt-free. I'm on a journey, and if you guys want to help me with that, that would be phenomenal. If you have any tips or questions, feel free to put them down below. And again, be on the lookout for another video from me once I get paid. Give me about a week and a half. I'm still working. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you got this far in the video, leave a little notebook emoji down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked what you saw today, and if you're looking forward to another video from me. Bye!